Hello, friends. Welcome to my program, Colonel's Punch. Well, today my topic is very hot and simmering. It's the formation of Sindudesh. Is it striking you? Yes, it's Sindh, Pakistan. It's the province of Pakistan. Well, you are aware that Pakistan was never a nation. It never had its own people or land. It was created by the West to get hold of strategic land with access to Afghanistan, to Russia and China. Today, this very land of Pakistan is in fire. The first to break out was Bangladesh in 1971. 93,000 prisoners surrendered to the Indian troops. Well, Balochistan, Waziristan, all are on the way for independence. Now, the fire burns in the hearts of Sindhis, and that is what the Sindhis want, a Sindudesh. Sindhis want a Sindudesh. Now, the very idea of Sindudesh was conceived by a patriot, G M Syed, in 1967. It was in 1971, Mujibur Rahman idea gave birth to Jeay Sind Tareek in 1972. And the Azadi movement of Sindhis, or Sindudesh, started from that very day. But very early, G M Syed expired, and that movement lost its steam. The void was quickly filled by the PPP, that is ZA Bhutto's party. And the Sindhis became strong. But there was an hitch. There was a huge sparrow in Sindh, in Pakistan. There was a thorn, there was a dagger pointed out into the heart of Pakistan. The going for Pakistan got difficult with the emergence of Altaf Hussain. Altaf Hussain was the king of Karachi. Not even a leaf could bristle without his permission. That was because Altaf had the support of migrant Indians who came from UP, Bihar and Delhi. They settled down in the huge towns of Karachi and Hyderabad, Sukur, and they became a force to reckon with. It was a huge, about 3 million, now 6 million. population, 1/5 of what Pakistan population is, and it could change the very destiny of voting. Altaf in 1988 formed the MQM with a memorandum that these migrants called Mujahirs be given the 5th status, just like the Punjabis, Sindh, Balochis and Pashtuns. This shook the Pakistani. Well, very soon, Altaf Hussein's party won the municipal elections in Karachi, Hyderabad, and thereafter in the federal elections also did well. He was growing strong, and someone had to puncture his ego. Well, the first one was PPP party, that is Bhutto's party. They refused to align with him at the final moment. Then came his overtures to Nawaz Sharif. That also met, because these people, Pakistanis understood the very game. These people, Nawaz Sharif party, also avoided him. Well, the generals and the ISI came in so that they could hold this party together. But Altaf was not a man to save away. He wanted to eat his pudding. And that's where he made his first fall. All the three political parties, that is the PPP, Nawaz Sharif, PML, and of course the ever-vigilant army came on ground, and they launched an operation in 1992. 10,000 people of Altaf were rounded up, killed, slaughtered. There was a terrible genocide. Karachi was on fire all the time. They wanted to weed out and throw out Altaf at all cost. You know the reason. Altaf finally went away to London and formed a government in exile. Even from there, in 1992, his talks on videos, on air, could paralyze the entire Karachi. Karachi was still his first love. From London, he said that Pakistan was like a cancer. Pakistan was growing into a jihadi state with thousands of madrasas coming up all over Sindh and Balochistan. He said Pakistan, very idea of two nations, had collapsed the very day. Hardly the very day majority of the Muslims stayed back in India. So Altaf Hussain became enemy number one, but that fire in the belly was still burning. You know why Pakistan is so scared of Sindh? The Indian national anthem, Gujarat, Sindh, Maratha, Sindh is in between. Remember that. Remember that the Indus Valley civilization, from river Indus to the 5 rivers of Punjab, they all flow into Sindh. And Sindh had the Indus Valley civilization at Harappa. You can imagine the link with India. And that is why Sindh will remain on fire all the time. Sindh, with capital Karachi and Mumbai, then Bombay, were the 2 major cities and financial world of unpartitioned India. Today, Karachi is on fire, and you'll find out why. Well, the midnight knock in Pakistan is very famous. Ordinary people are just picked away. They are taken on helicopters and thrown. Villages after villages are just burned in Balochistan and women taken away. Thousands of men are missing. Same thing happened when Mujibur Rahman was taken away and flown away from Dhaka in 71. Pakistan had not learned a lesson. Well, on 18th October 2020, very this year, Karachi was in flames again. You will ask me why. There was a midnight knock on the room in a hotel in Karachi. And the man who was sleeping inside was none other than Captain Muhammad Safdar, the son-in-law of 3 times Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif, the husband of Maryam Nawaz, who is emerging as the next Prime Minister. Just imagine. The Rangers go there at midnight, knock, knock. Safdar is sleeping, and they break open the door, drag him out in front of his daughter who's with him, push him into the car and arrest him. That is the midnight knock of 18 October. Can you believe it? It can only happen in Pakistan. No, before that, there was a drama which was played by Taliban Khan, it is Imran Khan, and General Bajwa. They ordered the Rangers to kidnap the IGP, Mushtaq Meher, IGP Sindh. Just imagine, a big man like, Mushtaq Meher was just kidnapped. He was the head of the Sindh police. And Sindh is a PPP governed state. And they had no business. Now, under duress, Meher, the IGP, was badly treated, shamed, and shouted at. And he was made to sign an FIR to arrest Sadr Muhammad, Captain Sadr Muhammad. he never wanted to do it. And the reason will shake you. The reason was that Muhammad Sadr had shouted some slogans saying that the vote must be respected. The vote must be respected in the mazar of Jinnah. Mind you, Jinnah must have woken up or shaken in his grave, and he was arrested on a flimsy ground. Can it be so bad, Pakistan? It is. Because next morning, Captain Sadr was released, but by then, the drama of IGP hadn't ended. IGP and his additional IGPs and 60 DIGs and SPs, all senior, applied for immediate leave. The whole Sindh was shaking, and the reign of Imran Khan and Bajwa for the first time was challenged. General Bajwa immediately asked the co-commander of Karachi to negotiate and bring peace to that area. An inquiry was ordered. But by then, it was clear that a new front after Balochistan for independence of Sindh, or Sindudesh, had merged. This was purely Imran Khan's last fallout. Imran Khan and General Bajwa were under pressure all the time. The reason was that 11 opposition parties, which included Nawaz Sharif's PML Nawaz, Bilawal Bhutto's PPP, Maulana Fazl Rahman, the man who had shaken earlier with his long marches, GOLF, Mehbooba Agzi and Mohsin Pasha, Pashtuns, and Baluch. You can imagine these 11 opposition parties were creating hell. They had already held a mass rally and a meeting in Gujranwala. Now, Gujranwala is the nerve center of Punjab. It is the area, the breeding ground of military recruitment of Punjabis who actually hold Pakistan together. Now, that is Nawaz Sharif's area. Massive turnout. Imran was shaken. Then came 18 October, Karachi, come to Karachi, they say. And that is Bhutto's PPP party's land. Remember, ZA Bhutto, Prime Minister, was physically moved out of his jail and hanged. Can you imagine a Prime Minister being hanged by military junta? It can only happen in Pakistan. Remember his charismatic daughter Benazir Bhutto was torn and blown apart by no one else than an army general. Pakistan has fallen on bad times. 3 times PM Nawaz Sharif is in jail and was lucky on medical grounds to be in London So from London he spoke. He spoke loud and clear that Pakistan, democracy and people are being robbed and scattered. By no one else, for the first time he said it loudly, by the army chief, Bajwa. Now, that shook Pakistan. Never in Pakistan, the army was the holy cow. No one had ever spoken about them. They did what they wanted. They broke Pakistan in two halves. But still, they reigned because of ISI, jihadists, terrorists. Now, for the first time, Nawaz Sharif had hit at them. Not only Bajwa sweated, but Imran Khan, his puppet, was out of control. The next three rallies will go on. The rally in Peshawar on 22nd November was big, even after General Bajwa used his entire army to close all roads and stop people. It was massive. It's on. It's on. The battle is on now. The independence struggle, which now has started from Karachi, is going to blow up into the face of Imran Khan. Imran Khan buckled again his parliament. In parliament, his a politician, Ayaz, Sadiq, said that when Wing Commander Abhinandan, you remember Wing Commander Abhinandan? He was taken a prisoner of war for 1 day. And what Ayaz said really reflected what Pakistan is, reflected what Imran is. He said General Bajwa was shaking in his legs. He was sweating profusely on his forehead when he went to Qureshi. And Qureshi told him, leave Wing Commander Abhinandan or India will attack at 9 p.m. Imran Khan was hiding. You remember who's Imran Khan? He is Imran Khan Nazi, the same Nazi who surrendered 93,000 prisoners, Pakistani soldiers, laid down arms. Shameful. So again, at the head, you got Imran Khan. Now both these people has lost the sovereignty of Pakistan. They have sold out to China. Now they are sold out to Turkey. It's disastrous. As Saudi Arabia and the 22 OIC states, including UAE, have no regard or respect for Pakistan. Pakistan is in the cornered. Will Sindudesh get azadi? Will Balochistan get azadi? Will Waziristan get azadi? Yes, they'll get azadi because Pakistan never had its land and people. It never cared and loved its people when the others were nations centuries ago. Thank you. Okay.